Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Mr. Duncan Keith, as there's been some massive rumors about him potentially coming over to the Edmonton Oilers in either a trade or maybe even free agency if Chicago does decide to buy him out. So we're going to be talking all about Duncan Keith, on if he's a smart option for the Oilers, talking about what the media has been saying, and just all that stuff. But before I get into the video, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to slap that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. Let's get into talking about Duncan Keith. So first of all, I'm going to go over his base numbers, go over this year's, go over his analytics a little bit. We're going to be kind of doing a deep dive of Duncan Keith. Now, this past season, he had 4 goals, 11 assists, and 15 points in about 50-some games. Not a bad season for Duncan Keith, but if you look at his past years, he used to be able to put up 50, 40 points. And if you're also a big plus and minus guy, which plus and minus is not really a good reliable stat anyways, I think he was about a -5 as well. Duncan Keith did not have the best season in the world, and people are still looking at those play-in rounds like they were everything for the Chicago Blackhawks, and especially Duncan Keith. But the funny thing was, in those play-in rounds, I don't even remember Duncan Keith being the best defenseman for the Chicago Blackhawks. I remember a lot of Connor Murphy and Calvin DeHaan more than Duncan Keith at all. I don't even really remember Duncan Keith in that series, and people are hyping this guy up like he's the next big thing for this team. He is not. The guy is worth $5.5 million for the next 2 years, and Chicago Blackhawks do not want to give this guy, away for us for free. They don't want to give us a first-round pick to offload Duncan Keith. They don't. They were legit asking us for Ryan McLeod and Ethan Bear, which, of course, our GM declined, thankfully, because, if he accepted a deal like that, giving Ethan Bear for Duncan Keith, that would have been, in history, one of the worst trades possible if that were to ever happen. Now, apparently, just a few days ago, Freeman said that, Edmonton basically handed them a deal that is a, take it or leave it type of deal, and we'll be done with Duncan Keith, thankfully, because I think we should be focusing on other tasks right now instead of focusing on Duncan Keith, when we should be focusing on maybe looking to offload some of these big ass contracts that we got on the team in Zach Cassidy and James Neal and Mikko Koskinen, and what we're going to be potentially doing with that. Anyways, I don't think Duncan Keith is a very good defenseman. I don't want him on the Edmonton Oilers, and the reason is this. Take a look at these analytics I'm about to show you. Offensively, he's not that bad. He didn't have that bad of a season offensively, and, his expected goals for is pretty good. But his defense is just nowhere to be found, and it is something that I don't want on the team when you already have defensemen like a Nurse and so many other offensive defensemen on this team. I don't need another offensive defenseman when we have a chance to maybe go after a Jamie Alexiak or a Jake McCabe. Jamie Alexiak could potentially bring in the exact same experience that Duncan Keith has brought. Jamie Alexiak has been to the Stanley Cup Finals before, and I think he could bring the exact same experience, but he's younger and also better. Could be a great defensive defenseman for the team, fit along great with Evan Bouchard, I feel. He fit alongside of Huskinainen perfectly there in Dallas, and now he could come over to the Edmonton Oilers and fit perfectly alongside of Evan Bouchard, and I think that could be a really good defensive pair. But what could potentially also happen if we pick up Keith, it could be alongside of Bouchard, but that would not be good at all. I don't want to be seeing Keith alongside of Bouchard. I would like to see McCabe alongside of Bouchard, or a Jamie Alexiak alongside of a Bouchard. I don't want to see Duncan Keith on this team when we already have a guy in Cress Russell who is the exact same player as Duncan Keith, just a defensive defenseman version of Duncan Keith, basically. Keith is the offensive guy, Russell is the better defensive guy, and I feel like Russell right now is a better defenseman than Duncan Keith. I know, Keith is a future Hall of Famer. He's done some great things, Keith has, but this is now going into, 2022 here? This is not 2015 anymore, guys. This is not the old version of Duncan Keith. This is the very aged version of Duncan Keith. And if we think that we need more veteran leadership to make this team better, look at the amount of veteran leadership that we have brought into this team over the past couple years. Andrew Ference, Milan Lucic, Mark Letestu, David Desharnais, and so many other veteran pieces that we brought into the team that have not worked. We need to bring in skill that can actually work for this team and not just an old ass bum in Duncan Keith, who I don't feel would fit very well in this team when Chris Russell can already fit in that spot. I don't want Duncan Keith at all. I do not want him to touch the team because it's just a waste of a pick. We need a nice top four defenseman if Oscar Klefbom is not going to be healthy. I would even like Jamie Alexiak if Oscar Klefbom is healthy, because that would be a great left-handed core with Nurse, Klefbom, and Jamie Alexiak. That would be a great defensive core going into the season, but having Keith there just is not special. It isn't, and definitely not what I want to see. So Kenny, please do not make this move. Even if Keith gets bought out, do not sign him, because he's not a player that's worth it. We do not need another left-handed defenseman, especially if we hopefully go after a guy like an Alexiak or a McCabe, which I think would fit the team better in general. We have the cash to do it, but Holland's going to do Holland things, and if people really do truly believe that Keith is going to be good, it's not going to turn out to be very good for the team. I hope we don't pick up Duncan Keith, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on these rumors, because they have just been going all around the media especially. So I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on this as well, because the media, a lot of media people have liked it, especially the older guys. I'm not going to name any names, but the older media, they really like this, that maybe Duncan Keith could possibly come into the Edmonton Oilers, which I don't know why. It's like they're stuck back in 2015 or the 1990s, where you need big gray beards and everything like that. You need a mix of, skill in this NHL nowadays a little bit, as well as what we've seen from the back-to-back here from the Tampa Bay Lightning. You need both that grit and that skill, because you can maybe bring yourself with old grit like what Dallas and Montreal did, but sometimes you need just a little bit more skill to win that Stanley Cup. And I just don't think Duncan Keith is that fit for this defensive core. You look at it, it doesn't fit the team. And there's a lot of media out there, the younger media like me, that don't like this deal at all, because we see Duncan Keith as a declining player, and we don't see him as a fit for this defensive core, as we already do have some nice veteran pieces in that back end. And I think we just need that one piece of a defensive defenseman, or even a great two-way guy to fit alongside of that top four, to play maybe alongside of Bouchard or Larson, or even an Ethan Bear, whoever we put him alongside of. So I hope we don't go after Duncan Keith. Let me guys know in the comment section below what you guys think of this whole rumor. And I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.